For efficient route finding, you really need to prepare beforehand by reading the route description in detail and digesting the topo. Make a mental note of the really key points on the route, and then the idea is that you can walk into the route nice and quickly and efficiently. You can then use route finding skills by looking for where other people have gone, where there isn't any loose rock, where there's polish, and then not needing to pull the route description out and slow you down by kind of needing to read it. I think that looks like our route, Rob.
Up there, down there. Great.
Cool. On the approach, it's worth having a pause to look at the route and see if you can identify those key features you picked out when you read the description. Take the time to make sure that you are starting in the right place for the route. Also, route finding is a skill and it does improve with experience. So the more you do it, the more you will improve. So we're at the start of the route proper here, and we know that this is one of the trickier sections of the route. So we've got the rope out and we've flaked it on the ground. We're going to consider what would happen if the lead climber fell off at this point, and there is a bit of a drop here. So what we'll do is make sure that the second is on an anchor and clove hitched into that to belay. I've decided to belay direct off this thread here, and I'm going to use an Italian hitch to bring Rob up for speed and efficiency on this pitch. So the terrain ahead has really changed, and actually it's really easy ahead, almost a pass with no consequence of a fall. So we've changed from pitching to carrying the rope between us so we can move up quickly through this walking terrain to get to the next part of the scramble. So the terrain has changed again, so we need to change the way we're moving. And here we both feel quite happy climbing this, but we're still going to use the rope for protection. So we're going to move together. We need to consider the rope length when moving together. There needs to be enough rope out that we can place several bits of gear on that rope before the second comes up and takes the gear out. So there always needs to be a minimum of 2 bits of gear on the rope. So I'm going to take a couple of coils off just to lengthen that distance between myself and Rob. So it's important when you're setting up to move together that when there is slack in the rope, that the lead climber is belayed. The lead climber will then place in gear. When the rope goes tight, that's when Rob can take himself off this spike here and start moving. So when I run out of gear or I get to a logical stance, I can put belay in and attach myself to it and bring Rob up so that we can regroup and decide who's going to go next. Okay, so I've just got onto walking terrain, but Rob's still got a little bit of scrambling to come up to. So I'm just going to pop the rope round this really solid block here, and I'm going to use that to direct belay him up. So it's really important that you test any block before you use it. And then once Rob's here, we can look ahead and decide what what we need to do here and what the terrain's like. So it's looking a bit harder ahead, so I'm going to get Rob to clove hitch in. Then we can hand over the gear, backstack the rope, Rob can put me on belay and we can go again. So you can use the rock for protection by flicking the rope around spikes. You need to make sure you don't get really bad rope drag though. So sometimes it's advantageous to put a sling on and the rope will run freer. Do test your spikes beforehand. Yes, the tongue of concentration. Yeah. Okay, so on this route we've done several different techniques. We've pitch climbed, we've moved together, and we've walked with the rope on the easiest terrain. Pitch climbing is the safest because only one person's moving at the time. However, it is also the slowest. And although we can get away with doing that in the UK because the routes are so much shorter, in the Alps you can't do that because you'll take too much time. So you need to be able to pick suitable terrain for you to move together with your climbing partner. So to do this efficiently and smoothly, you need to make quick judgments of when to use the different techniques. You then need to be really efficient in changing between them. It just comes with practice, so you need to get out and get on terrain like this and practice all the different techniques.